it. And what's the streets? Trello, it's Twitter, it's Facebook. You put out a song, people say, "Oh, fire, 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 nice one, nice one." And then the technical guys are listening and saying, "I don't know this if the song is that great." So you have to make a call. Thank God, with data and metrics and some of the tools, you can get a sense of where a song is going to. Yeah. There's a guy I'm bringing in tomorrow, and if you guys tune in, I'm bringing somebody from YouTube Music, and he's talking about how they're using technology to curate and see what is the next big song, so that the guesswork has been reduced a bit, and you can use tools to find out how best to promote the music. So that's my summary, that's my wrap up. But it's been very exciting, great conversations, really explosive as well. So
I'm going to bring you back, right?
Yeah, sure.
Let me get Casey on.
Sure.
Because Casey needs to come and talk from both sides, like you said.
All right.
Where's Casey? All right, Casey's there.
Yo.
Emperor
Obey. Mr. Obey. Great job you're doing, though.
Thank you so much. You know, you've been here. You've heard everything.
Yeah.
Obi Asika has said. You've heard everything Niola said.
Yeah.
You've heard everything Baba Keke, Kenny's Music said.
Yeah.
You've also heard what
how would you say?
The summary I would just. You see, you're here as an artist from both, as an artist and a record label, right?
Yeah.
You've been in the position where you were signed to Kenny's Music.
Yeah.
So you've been signed as an artist to a record label. So you were signed to Kenny's Music.
Yeah.
And thank God, your former boss, right? And still our world boss.
Yeah.
He's watching you. So whatever you say, we'll know whether you are lying.
Of course.
Your contract.
Of course.
Haven't been signed to Kenny's Music.
Yeah.
And now getting to a point where you own your own record label. Yeah. Haven't been signed to Kenny's Music and going to a point where you own your own record label, right? And now as an artist, what can you say about the conversations we've been having so far?
Yeah, well, thank you, Ubi. I think I'm interested about this topic. That's why I'm here again. After the last time we spoke, you told me we're going to do this today, and I tuned in. I've listened from the top till this point, and I think I'll start from what the boss, Obi Asika, said. And Audu also, great job and great statement, and he's been part of this. And I think everybody here is trying to put hands together to find a headway to the industry. So for me, I think from what Obi Asika said, he's a boss, and I think when he came into the industry, I saw him when he came in. You know, he came in with so much swag from Uptown. You know, they changed the game, added some more flavor to it. From where Baba Keke started from, he came from Los Angeles, prime time on AIT. You know, all these juices, they added it into the industry. Before then, my father was signing them local artists in Ajegule because he was a record label owner, also local way. You know, so there's this experience coming. You know, my father almost got to sign Junior and Pretty at some point. You know what I mean? So now, what Obi said, I think I'll take it from, I think Polo is there. Polo is watching up front. I think there was a day I was in his office in 2013, and Polo was talking to Wizkid about merchandising. Like, hey, bro, I think Wizkid is a household name. I think you need to do a school bag with water bottle and feeding, you know, and blah, 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 and put it in the market. And this will go haywire. But trust me, with due respect, I was expecting to see that. I didn't see it. It didn't happen. Why? I don't know. Merchandising is something that can give us a lot of money away from music. But I think one big challenge we have in trying to merchandise in Nigeria, don't forget that the people you're selling this thing to, you need to groom their mind. You need to upgrade their mindset. We have tried to sell our music to them. They've accepted it. It's another job. It's a different ball game to sell merchandising to these same people. Most of them believe in wearing Puff Daddy. They want to wear Gucci. Some of us have invested a lot of money into merchandising. It failed. All right? I'm being honest to you. Now, the mindset of our people is totally different. Sometimes some of them want to get the foreign stuff. They were doing that with the music. We changed it. I'm not saying it's not possible. It's very possible. But while we're trying to merchandise and sell to them in large numbers, we need to work on their mind.
Just 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah.
I need to say something before you continue. I just saw Dari at Alade. Dari, please, I would like you to come on after Casey, please. Dari, please.
Okay. So I think we need to work on the people so that they can also appreciate. I remember when Fino released his song Alobam, the Abba Boys pirated the Alobam t-shirt and it went like a wire in the East. Everybody was wearing it. They made so much money. Fino didn't make a dime. Now, if a Fino wants to merchandise, a Fino will leave that market and try to look at the upscale markets, for instance, that will not be interested in buying that product. And it will make him look like, okay, he's trying to drop his standard from where he is. Do you get it? And by then, you have lost the attention and the audience of the people that you can hit that will give you the numbers. So we need to look at these things. Yeah, because I did some merchandising and I was looking at those top people. Why the people down there can buy you 2 million in 1 week? Because they go crazy about you. The people you're looking at, they have money, they travel every week, every month. They want to buy abroad. So that's for that. From the point I just want to make from what Obiasika said about merchandising. We need it. We need it like now because it will fly like now. But we need to, like my friend in Tanzania, Diamond. I was in Tanzania. Diamond is selling chin chin, selling this, and he's making loads of money out of that. They understand they need to support their brand. They are buying it, and he's making loads of money. Now he has a radio station, he has a TV station, he has this. How many Nigerian artists has a radio or a TV station? We don't. We don't look at those business angles. So we need to start looking into that. That's that. Then secondly, from when Baba Keke came in, I think he has a lot of points. Some of us worked under him, and I was privileged to work under him. I worked with him for about 4 years. After my first contract, he retained me and Presh, and we stayed there for a while. Trust me, I said it the last time he wasn't here. I said then, we as artists, we used to gossip like say these people just they sell our music, they don't want to give us money. They sell our music, they don't want to pay us. And sometimes Keke would take somebody like me. I've been privileged. Keke took me to Ajawa Estate and showed me the heaps of CDs of every artist. You see where on a CD there. And some of us will still doubt. We'll still say, the one way they show us, not be the one way they sell. Now, we did all those things. And at some point, we moved on. We stepped up. And when I got into the next level of being my own record label owner, I now understood, okay, sometimes these are imaginations. Artists we over-expect. When we are writing these songs, when we're composing this song, we believe that, boom, as we release it, everybody is buying it. The whole world is eating the song. We are making money. But we don't know what goes down. These record label owners spend a lot of money. They use their connections. They use their contacts to promote and project you. All right? So when we do all that, we forget it. 10%, like Baba Keke said, was what I said here the last time. Like, what you need in an artist's talent is just like 10%. Highest 20%. Talent or knowledge about music is just 10-20%. You can package anybody that has 10% idea to become anything. So artists need to understand that, yes, they are bringing the talent on board. The record label is also bringing the resources you don't have on board. And by the time you merge these two forces together, you can get a great result. Now, when it comes to sharing the revenue, I think the artists should always remember that these guys invested in this, because artists, we forget when we see the red carpets on all the shows, all the ovation, you know, when it says success comes with so many friends and enemies. When it comes with people that were not there when you were going through that stress and struggle with your label, they start putting in words in your head. You can do it on your own. you are making all the money. They are just at home, relaxing. They are not just at home. They've done their work. It's time for you to do the road work, which is getting the money. Go do the shows. You don't expect Baba Keke to follow you to all the shows, to be following you about, or Obi Asika to be following you about. No. So at that time, artists would start feeling, saying, they house now, they rest. He's just at home and I'm traveling. No, they've done their part. So artists should also remember that when they start balling, when they are doing their own job, which is going to do those shows and make those money, remember that they've done their own job. That's why the people can see you. Okay? And another thing Baba Keke said that I will not forget is when you talk about contracts, Ubi, you were saying something about the lawyers. Me, I don't think I'll blame any lawyer. Like I said the last time, these lawyers is their business, is their office. If you tell a lawyer to come and defend you that you stole this thing and you want him to defend you that he didn't steal it, he will collect the contract and go and try his luck if he will win the case. Sometimes they win the case. The lawyers are here. So I don't blame the lawyers. Now, what I want artists and labels should know is we are created in different ways. You see, this right here is different for everybody. Our understanding and the way we communicate with everybody is different. So first of all, artists and label owners, the first thing that binds us should be the contract. The contract. Now, I'll tell you where my experience, where I have problem when it comes to contract. The people, which are our fans, our consumers, our godfathers, they don't respect contracts, because when an artist breaks out of a contract, first will have a problem. The media, they always want the negative news. So first of all, they want to sell the negative part of it. Now, some of them will take side already. They either want to work with the artists, DJs will do their own. They will tell the artist, don't worry, now we're going to play your song. He gets energy and get momentum from people that are supposed to be, fair to the whole situation. Now, when he gets pity from those people, he becomes more confident. Now, you see, I had issues of, you see some godfathers calling you, nah, leave that thing, now you are bigger than that. You are bigger than that. How can you be taking this small boy to court? You can't be fighting. God has blessed you. Were you there when I bought car for him? Were you there when I gave money to shoot videos in London, in here, So I think the people need to help us also in trying to find a solution to this. When you hear a record label is fighting with an artist, as a press man, as a fan, before you take side, can you just ask to see what the contract is saying, to know the truth? So that is that. I think even the fans and the media need to work with us. No, I don't even want to talk to the lawyers, because lawyers will always collect their job. I think the fans and the audience and the families, they need to always say the truth. That is that. And Niola, God bless her for what she said, because I'm going to be honest, she brought a very strong point as an artist, and I must respect that. Sometimes the labels also get too bossy, too carried away, because they spend the money and they put a lot of instructions and laws that sometimes you ask yourself if you are in prison, or are you here to do partnership, or to, you don't understand. So I think she brought a point out there, which I think need to be trashed immediately when it comes to artists. And if you're, I said this on one live video yesterday, some people just make money from one business or the other. They want to invest into music business. Ubi, my oga them are here. Obi Asika is here. Ken is here. Audu is here. Please, I would like to know, what is the criteria of setting up a record label in Nigeria? What are the criteria? What are those things that needs to be done? Is because every artist that fights their label, in the morning, they open up another label with another name. Imagine if a brand like Coca-Cola or Pepsi, I'm sorry, I'm calling a name, want to set up a product, you need to go through so many bodies in Nigeria to say, okay, to register this, you need to have, your factory need to be like this, your this need to be like this, you need to have this number, you need to, if we have something like that before you register a label, trust me, no not everybody will just wake up and say, I want to go and register a label. And these artists will understand that if they leave their label, it may be to be difficult to get another label. Maybe they will also understand that, hey, this is a lifeline I need to manage very well. And they will be strict and serious and be dedicated to their contracts. All right. So it's a whole lot of conversation. And for me, I think I appreciate.
Yeah. I really, every time you speak, it makes me understand that, you know a lot about what you've been doing. You can imagine your dad signing artists. So you've been in the artist signing game for years.
Of course.
Like Audu just said that the criteria for signing an artist is, it is my time to shine. So, so
that's the problem.
So, these conversations we're having, we're going to keep having different parts of the music industry conversation. And your input as someone who has been in the industry for years, right, will be much needed.
No
I want to bring on
Dari.
I want to bring on Dari. I like Dari to come and contribute some, because Dari's father was doing the same thing, and Dari came on and took it over. And so he will have a lot of knowledge in terms of what the conversations we're having. So let me bring him in.
No problem. Right. I'm here. I'm listening.
Thanks. All right.
God bless you, bro.
Let me see. I think it's a Dari. Where's Dari? Okay. Wow, Casey. Boss.
Big man.
your comments have been very funny. I think you and Audu just find a way to get at yourself. Welcome to the show, bro.
Bro, thanks, man. Well done with everything. Audu, Obi, Baba Keke, Niola, Casey, everybody, man, at the hill it's a tough one. It's a tough one.
So you've heard everything they've been saying. I want you to just quickly, because we want to keep addressing these issues until we are able to fix our entertainment industry, which is very, very important.
They've touched everything, unless you have a specific. Honestly, the experiences are too many, and let it not be like a request show or flashback memory. You understand? There's too many. Otherwise, the talk go too long. You understand? Let's be specific on what is possible. You understand?
Okay, you've experienced the industry from an artist's point of view and from a record label point of view. The conversation that Niola has come in with our own side, which is very, 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 a very strong point, and I hold it very dear. I want you to come in from a record label point of view and an artist point of view. What you think are the issues that we're faced with as an industry, and what do you think are the best things that we can do to actually change something?
The honest truth would be everybody's correct. Everybody's right. Everybody's opinion matters. Everybody's experience is very valid because they've been there and they've done that. Baba Keke has said it as it is, and he didn't lie. I've never heard him talk like this ever. You understand? No cap. You understand? He has never, as long as I've known him, and that's a long time, and I think everybody can attest to that. And to touch on what he said, really from a label perspective or even a management perspective, whatever you put in, you understand, emotions aside, very underline it, no emotions, is you have to recoup on your investment. In any business, that's the first thing you ought to do, okay? If you are able to recoup and we are friendly and things are happening, no problem. It's a great relationship. You've been there. Even you know what we're talking about, And where it becomes difficult is if the music does not sell, if the artist doesn't become successful, if it just feels like you have put money into a never-ending well, a bottomless pit, at some point you wake up and you end the agreement. Now, when you end the agreement, you end it that the artist can, since this thing is not working, well, just pause, you understand? But you will never let that artist go because your money is still hanging. You understand? So you've seen different scenarios where now fights, now
Yeah.
litigation straight. If you not get enter court tomorrow, now one threat or the other, you understand? What does that one bring? It doesn't really solve any problem. But you know, emotionally now, you have to hold on to that issue at hand and say, look,
Yeah.
until death do us part, you must find a way and cough up this money. You now start to plus the one that is true, plus the one that is bogus, plus the champagne that you drank in the club one day that you don't remember.
Yeah.
You understand? All the turn up, all the birthday cake, different things. You
Yeah.
can name it. Even the one we no happen, they go list everything for you. You understand? And to be fair, it is what it is. You understand? There's if you put it in, you want to get it out. Now, when you put it in, the question is, did you put it in the right way? You know, it's a gamble. A lot of things you try it out. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. You know, promotions, marketing, advertising, the music. Okay, change from one producer to the other, hire songwriters. You know, the list of expenses is endless. Talk less of renting house or cars and things like that. So I understand it's obvious to see, you know, but I think where it's an expensive venture where if you're not careful with the way you spend it, you know, you will run into trouble. You know, if there's a smart way to spend it and you know, cut costs, you know, as much as you can, you limit your
Yeah.
exposure, you know, and that way you can maximize whatever comes in, you know, especially when the artist is not really bringing anything in. If the artist is bringing stuff in, hopefully you have the great machinery, which is that question that Casey was asking, that what is it that the label is actually bringing? What does it take to actually kick off? Am I right? You know, in terms of recapping his
Backing up
question,
record.
what does it take to start it up? It's not just CAC certificates, you know, and you call some of your friends and you say, you know, may we sign this board paperwork, you know,
I'll
where
just say this: my time. The criteria is my time to shine.
uh, you can call it, you can come up with all sorts of, you know, reasons for putting it together, but the real resources and experience you are bringing to bear is your network. You understand? From legal to production to songwriters to A&R to your network in the business, the industry. That's something that your artist can never pay for. You understand? From the kind of meetings, the exposure you give the artist, platforms, festivals, concerts, all those things. That's stuff that that day when they bring the contract, say you don't mess this contract up. Now there you go begin. They see all the different things that they'll cost for. You know, so it's understandable. It's I can relate to that. I've been there. We've seen it. You know, but it's tough. Now, if the record label was able to spend, you know, the actual cash or the actual investment, if they were able to spend it in a very, you know, in a smarter way, you know, then maybe they will reduce exposure. Then for the artists, you know, it's also difficult because it's it's one of those things. I made a comment there. I said people can hail you to poverty if you're not
Yeah.
careful as an artist. You get carried away. You are making the money. You are popular. If you are not able to invest it either in yourself or even in the people that invested in you, you know, realizing that this thing is a two-way street. You know, you can't think you've made it, you've arrived, then you jump ship and go to another. You know, you've got to try and see certain things through, but sometimes it's easier said than done. You know, the artist may not be mature enough, the artist may not be, you know, educated in terms of the business, you know, and all that, may not be surrounding him or herself with the right people, you know, to really know the ins and outs of this thing that they're doing. There for them is just let me get on stage and kill the show, you know, let me get in the studio and record. So not every artist is ready for show business. Some just for show. Just like you have artists that are great at writing and recording, and you have some that are better at live performance, so it's tough. The market is also makes it tough, where Afro pop dance, lamba, the the lamba music, is what is pop, that's what's popping. But is it really the one that puts food on the table, that makes the money? It makes the hype, but does it actually make the money? We can now see other artists, other genres of performers springing up, huge following. It may not be as big as the other ones, but they're also making a mark, and they're being able to feed. So despite everything that has been said, there's really been growth. We mustn't lose focus on what we've been able to achieve. I think we mustn't forget that at all. Over the last 15 years at least, the rapid rise in African music, Nigerian music, we're getting something right, at least from the writing perspective, the arrangements, the production, and all that. What's remaining now is how we can consolidate the structures. How can we fight piracy? Obi was saying earlier on, he said, look, until there's if there's a way to have a protected pipeline, a secure pipeline, so if you had guaranteed 200 stores or 200 physical locations across the country, that that you can get authentic anything African and Nigerian entertainment. Let's not say just music, from merchandise to the actual music, to anything, paraphernalia, etc. Authentic, that okay, if I get my stuff to these 200 stores, I can make my X amount of money back. Let's forget about piracy. That one will continue, but if we're able to create a secure parallel market, maybe, and how do we do that? Maybe certain people need to come together. That has also been a problem over the years. Different associations, different groups, all these things where we did talk.
Yeah.
So, it's just, and I said earlier, I said there's no easy solution, but I think we have to keep trying. These conversations have to continue, and
Definitely
we'll
have to
see how, because why each artist no get registration number? Why?
Right?
You understand? Why? What's the big deal? Have a registration number, have some kind of body that at least, every year you have insurance. If at least I know that, okay, HMO day for me as an artist, I can go, even if that's the least I am able to, something that gives me a sense of belonging, that protects my rights or my interest or whatever. To collect money itself is a problem. Rights, association, collection, royalty, all those things are perennial issues that we keep facing. Everybody knows it. But why can't you can have a registration number as an entertainment executive, you understand, or whatever your case is, or your standing is, in the industry. Now, to what end? That's the question. Where do we harness everything to say, okay, these are your benefits for being? Does it have to be under a particular umbrella? Does it have to have one name that, those are the things where you start saying everybody wants to have their own, wants to be on their own. Nobody wants to be under one particular umbrella for sake of, I don't know, whatever it is. So we've tried it over the years. We've seen these things. So where's the solution?
All right. So I'm really happy that you came on with this, your contribution. But you see, there's things that are very, very important. And today the conversations are balancing up properly so that we can know, it's like a father not knowing where he has gone wrong, and then his kids always complain, but the man thinks that because I'm a father, there's nothing you can do. But you see, I'd like to bring back, there's a question I'm going to ask, but I'd like to bring back Obi and Kenny for us to end this today's session. Then we'll continue again on Saturday on when an artist contract expires, right?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? When an artist contract expires and he has not made money for the label, is it advisable to renew? Or when an artist gets 5 years contract, for example, and 2 years to the end of his contract, he now becomes big, right? Is it advisable to renew the contract and recoup your investment before you let the artist go? So I'll bring in, since I'll bring in I want you to touch a little bit on that, right? But I'd like to bring in Obi and Kenny to also ponder on that very well, because it's a very, very important question. You know, that's where the problem is.
They're going to get different answers from different people.
No, that's what we want, because that's what the problem is. You know, there are artists that left their record labels when they were in the last year of their contract. And that's okay. For example, their contract expires December 31st, and they blew December 25th, or let's say they blew December 20th of the last year.
Yeah.
So then the coming year, their contract expiring in the next 1 year. And once they become big, their contract expires, they go, and the label cannot recoup their money. So yeah. Do we do it where before you go, you pay back the money that you owe, or even if you have to go, the monies you have for the songs you are performing that are from the record label, you pay us, or the streaming revenue you pay until you are able to, because we have another 25 minutes to round up this conversation.
Yeah.
So I want you to quickly just say what you think about it, so I can bring in Obi quickly.
It's really down to the contract, you know, what all the parties can agree to, and the structure. You know, it may be renewal, that's the way to go. It may be, okay, we'll let you go, but you know, for the next XYZ years, we're still tied in, you know, revenue off of certain other elements to be able to recoup. That's a sit down at the table, whether it's lawyers, arbitrators, whatever, you know. And if it's a family affair that you guys have an arrangement, no problem, sit down. You have to have some kind of mutual agreement. Otherwise, if the label goes hard and says contract based on paperwork, we no agree, they have their own right as well, because they'll say, okay, it's a 5-year contract, you've done 4, you have 1 year to go, we've not made anything, you know, we stick by our guns. So but the real practical solution is to sit down at that point, at that juncture, and say, look, this is what we've made so far. Whether it's true or not, you can figure out the accounting side of it, you know. But from the beginning, which will affect this ending, is how transparent both sides have been through that relationship.
Okay, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I'll bring on Obi Asika now, because I like him to answer this. Is because people believe that this is a very important question, because that's what the main problem is. Thank you so much, Dari. I really appreciate it.
Nice one.
Thank you. Let's have Obi, and then we'll end today with Baba Kenny. Where's Obi Asika? Okay. Hi, bro. Welcome back, sir.
Yeah, man. It's a heavy session you had today, man.
I know, right? So
yeah, Kenny was incredible. I just need to say that, man.
Thank you so much. Before we go, I know we have another of this session on Saturday, and I would love to have you back. I'd love to have Barakeke back. I would love to have everybody back, because this is a continuous conversation.
Yeah, for sure.
So the biggest problem right now is when an artist is leaving the record, when an artist blows at the end of their contract and they leave, that's where a lot of labels actually have a problem. Some artists don't leave their contracts without, they don't break their contract. Some artists actually leave because they blew a year before the end of their contract. So with that being said, do you think that contracts should be like, whatever I'm spending for you is like an advance, the same way international record labels do? Do you think that is what we should imbibe in our industry?
I think the truth of the matter, like KK said, is that labels here, and you know, artists who have gone on to form labels have found out the hard way that labels here have been incredibly generous to artists, right? Because we are emotional people and we get close to the artists and we just invest and support. Because also, no matter what KK says, if he wasn't a fan of the music, he wouldn't even have set up Kenneth's Music, right? So even though he's a boss and he's the chairman and he's the legend in 80 albums. He told you, I have to like the song for the song to come out, right? He's put the investment down to create that opportunity. So yes, the recoup is critical. That's the business side of the. That's why it's called the record business. That's why it's not amateur night at the Apollo. That's why it's not you and your friend, right? That's why you're on MTV, not on your mobile phone. Do you understand? There's a difference between the guy singing in the hotel bar and the guy who's selling tickets at the stadium. You know, that's the difference between a talented singer. He could even be a better singer but he's not a superstar. You know, that's the key thing. That's why KK said that it's only 10% is the singing. To be a superstar, you're a force of nature. So yes, you want to recoup as a label, but the truth of the matter is, I would say it's maybe in the last 5 to 7 years that labels could even possibly have begun to make any money in terms of recouping, right? And that's primarily because of digital, because before that, we were all basically victims and hostages of Alaba and Idumota.
Yeah.
So we didn't have income. The revenue streams, publishing, mechanical, live, all these things that you have from your international rights, they didn't aggregate, yeah? The streams you're seeing now for Nigerian music, it didn't exist in 2007, in 2008. I remember when Facebook started, right? You remember MySpace, right? So exactly. So the situation, I think, is that it all comes down to one thing. It's about integrity between the label and the artist. No matter whether you bring a bank or a regulatory body, that's actually the single thing, integrity. And then transparency in the sense that this is 2020, right? You can see everything.
Yes.
You can see all your analytics. You can see the data board. You can see the dashboard. Even the most emotional artists can work out the investment made into them, right? Whether it's videos, whether it's promotion, whether it's servicing, right? And I think the points Niriola made are very important about how an artist works with the right creative team, about how they are involved in A&R, right? Because those are the things that create the separation, right? And maybe what we're talking about is that there are not many labels out there right now with the sophistication and the level of management and A&R, right, to really give the support to the artists. Do you understand? I think there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent, right? I hear everybody talking about structure. I hear everybody talking about, you know, somebody's going to come and solve it for us. Nobody's going to come. It's our issue. It's our market. And the truth of the matter is, as Dari said, we've come a long way. I mean, it wasn't even a conversation 20 years ago. We were being told we're crazy for even talking about these things, right? These things were not supposed to be a real industry, a real possibility for anybody who was Nigerian. That wasn't supposed to be that, right? But guess what? The biggest artists from Africa are Nigerian. And they have been for the last 15 years. And like Dari says, and everybody knows, it didn't happen by accident, but it is something that we can improve. And I think what we can improve is the monetization of our domestic market. I think that's because guess what? If you improve the monetization of your domestic market, Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, you won't be seeing them on Instagram abroad. Because to book them abroad, you're going to have to pay a premium more than the Nigerian is prepared to pay for them in Nigeria. And I believe their biggest market is in Nigeria. Do you understand? Even as big as the global market is, you know, if you monetize Lagos effectively, the 20 million people in Lagos, let's not even go to the two deal with the 20 million in Lagos, right? Everybody's okay. That's what I believe.
Almost the population of Ghana.
That's the population of many countries.
Yeah, many countries, yeah.
Belgium, Holland, go to all these places. I mean, you know, Lagos, I think, is in the top 5 economies in Africa.
Yeah.
That is bigger than 50 countries. So, you know, let's take it for what it is, right? So that's why I'm saying that our biggest opportunity is ahead of us. That's what I think. I think the biggest opportunity for Nigerian entertainment, for Nigerian music, is still to be seen. So somebody will work out. We have to build that gap between, you know, Aba, Alaba, Idumota, you know, that Nollywood and the music industry have. We have to find a way to close that gap. So we have some people that know how to sell products, right? We can see them selling products every day. And then we know how to create content. So we need to find a way to share assets and share money. That's what intelligent people do. Intelligent people don't cheat themselves.
Yeah.
You know? And I think
Word.
Nigerians are too intelligent to keep cheating themselves.